In this tutorial, I thought I'd go over some of the preferences within the editor and shed some light on them, maybe introduce you to a couple of new things that maybe you aren't using, whether you're steno or voice, you have to edit, so I just want to make sure that I can give you the best of what we've got going on. So we're going to go into the preference menu. You're going to hit Control M. That's a keyboard shortcut to get into the preference menu. There it is. And then we're going to click on the Edit tab. And the Edit's going to be the first one that we get into. Now, up at the top here we have Move by Word or Move by Character. Currently I have it set Move by Word. So I'm going to close that for a second and just demonstrate how we move by word. So as I hit my right arrow, I'm moving to the right by word. As I hit the left arrow, I'm moving back to the left by word. Now, if I want to get in between the E and the I here in being, all I have to do is hit my Control key and then my right arrow, and that will move me over however many times I hit it. It'll move me by character. So you can kind of toggle that on the fly. However, if you prefer to move by character, you can do exactly the opposite of moving by word. So here I am moving by character by hitting my arrow, and once I hit my Control key and hit that arrow, it'll move by word. Now down at the bottom here on our status bar, currently right now it says CHR. That means we are set to move in character mode. If I select Move by Word, then it's going to switch over to WRD. So at any time you can look down here and see what mode you're in. Alright, back to our preferences. Insert mode. Insert mode is also down on the toolbar. It's INS here. And we'll go click out of here and see how that works. When I'm in insert mode, when I type, it's going to insert whatever I'm typing and just push it over. If I were to come into the preferences and uncheck that, click on OK, you'll notice down our status bar we've now changed to OVR, which means overwrite, and this is what overwrite does. Yes, it overwrites. So that you know what state you're in, you always want to check down here. Now, FYI, you do have a key on your keyboard that's Insert or INS. In some cases, depending on how your computer manufacturer decided how to display that. And if you hit that, and watch my status bar down here, if you hit that button, it'll toggle between the two. So just know where that's at, and if you notice this happening, just hit your insert button and toggle it to the mode that you want to be in. Alright, on to the next one. Auto advance cursor during global. Okay, this is a good one. Basically what we're asking the system to do is when it sees a stop scan, and these squiggly parens are the stop scans, as are the @ symbols, that when it stops at a stop scan, go ahead and search forward while I'm working at the stop scan for the next one. So here's one stop scan, and this is an unusual one because it's looking for you to type something in. And so for this one you will have to hit F7, and it's going to go to my conflict here. Now I can choose 1 or 2, or click on the toolbar, or click auto, whichever one you want. Auto's already highlighted, so all you really have to do is hit the enter key. So I'm going to pick one, and as I do, it's going to automatically advance to the next scan stop, which you see is ATTY1. And then now you can continue, and I'm going to add Mr. Johnson there. Oops, I'm going to replace Mr. Johnson there, and you see that it already has jumped to the next untranslate. So that's what auto advance cursor during global. If you didn't have that, then you'd have to hit F7 each time to get where you wanted to advance to the next one. So there you have it. Audio playback during global. Do not try and say that 2 or 3 times in a row. Your tongue will fall off. What that means is when I do come to and untranslate, and I hit F8, and I don't have any audio in this one, so I can't really demonstrate that, but when you hit F8, it's automatically going to play back the audio for this portion, or for this word. You can also, in preferences, on the Winner main screen, set how far back you want Winner to start during this process. So if I said I wanted to go back, 3 seconds, and fingers is 3 seconds, and it'll give you this whole area of audio, so that you can get the context and maybe understand what was going on. Alright, back over to our preference window by hitting Control M. Auto punctuation. This is a cool thing that we've had for, since back in the DOS days. Auto punctuation, let's try it here. Now, what auto punctuation does is when it sees terminal punctuation, it's going to put 2 spaces and upcap the next word. Commas and the like will do what they normally do, which is comma space. Now, auto punctuation is pretty cool, and I'm going to place my cursor right next to the W so you can better see what I'm trying to demonstrate. Now, let's suppose that I don't want that comma there after Mrs. Jones. She just doesn't deserve it. So I'm going to get rid of it. And I can do that by hitting backspace, delete, whatever, or simply hit the comma again, and that's going to remove it. So it acts like a toggle. One to put it in, and you see that it puts it in, puts a space, or hit the comma again, removes the space, removes the comma. It's the same thing for period. Here's my period. Period, 2 spaces, upcap. Hit the period again. No spaces, no upcap. Now, here's my comma. What if I say oopsie poopsie? That's supposed to be a period. Do I hit the comma to remove it and then hit the period? No. If I hit the period, it's automatically going to do what I want, which is remove the comma, add a space, and upcap the word. So that's a pretty cool little thing with automatic punctuation. And punctuation is also down here on our status bar. Now, what if I wanted to put an ellipsis, or 2 commas, or comma period, or comma chameleon? I can do that by just hitting the comma. And if I hit the comma again, of course it's going to remove it. So I got to turn off my punctuation. If I hit Control P, you'll see that PNC is no longer here. And I can put my ellipsis in. Of course, I'm going to have to remove my spaces because we no longer have automatic punctuation. And there you have it. And when I go back into punctuation mode, it's not going to change that. It's going to know that I wanted those with no punctuation standards attached to it. Alright, back to our preferences window. We'll go to the Edit tab and automatic pagination. Now, I'm going to explain pagination as simply as I can. Pagination is the measurements of your top, left, right, and bottom margins along with the paragraph styles as they are measured against your printer. And all printers do these things just a little bit differently, and so we have to have some sort of pagination. In my opinion, this should never be unchecked. I wouldn't mess with it, just leave it the way it is, and we'll go on to the next one. Alright, use escape keys to exit and close editor. Now this is lots of Windows programs have this. And let's say I wanted to exit this document. I can click on the close button and then come over here and click the exit button, or I can just click the exit button up over here, or I can do file and then exit, or if I have my use escape key to exit and close and I forgot to mark that one, all I have to do is hit that escape key, and it's automatically going to go into an exit mode. And there we have it. So I'm going to cancel this because I really don't want to exit. And typing replaces selection. You guys are going to have to decide for yourself whether this is going to work for you. It's almost like overwrite. except that you're going to select something. Now I can select by highlighting, which is clicking and dragging my mouse over something. I can do Control Shift and an arrow in the direction I want it to go, and in this case it takes the space. Or simply, if I just double click, it'll take the word. Okay, so now it's highlighted and I want to change this to something else. So I highlight. Now I'm going to just start typing. I'm not hitting the delete key or anything else. So change. There you go. FYI and a word of warning, if you highlight a bunch of stuff and you're going to do something with it, maybe change the font, the color, whatever, and you accidentally hit your space bar or anything else, it's going to replace that selection. So you want to keep that in mind. However, don't freak out. There is an undo button and it will put everything back the way it was. Alright, now I'm going to uncheck that because I do tend to make that mistake. Enable tracking using color. Now I'm going to select purple because it is my favorite color. And what this is if you're going to send this off to a Scopus and you want to know where the changes are that the Scopus made for whatever reason, it's a kind of a good thing. You just want to double check the work or proof or proofing or whatever. That's a pretty cool thing. So now I'm going to use my punctuation and I'm going to change that period to a comma, and you see that the two things that changed, which was the fact that I removed the period with the comma, and then because there's no longer a period there, it changed the initial capped W to lowercase, and those two things became purple. So you'll now be able to see things like that in the color that you wanted. Now this is purchased. Oh, look. I love auto suggestion because I don't have to think. Here we go. And now it's purple. So that's tracking using color. Enable the USB foot pedal for audio playback. Okay, I don't have audio in this particular demo, but if you purchased a universal foot pedal, either from us or from any other vendor, really all you would have to do is plug that device in, and Windows normally 9 times out of 10 recognizes it and already has a driver for it. Proprietary foot pedals like the kind that Olympus has, maybe Sony, those things are designed to be used with those devices, and they don't generally work in winter. But if you've enabled it here and you've got your foot pedal plugged in now, you may have to save this document, exit out, and come back in so that it does load it properly. Alright, I'm going to uncheck it. Scan to color of untranslates. This really speaks to cart writers who are sending their data to somebody who's viewing it remotely, and they don't want to see the scan stops around something. And so basically what they're going to get is something, oops, like this. And so what happens when we do this is, well, now that there's no scan stops, you know, what's it going to do if the cart writer needs to deliver this in some sort of format? Well, we'd put in there that it will scan. It knows when that's untranslated. It's able to tell from the background files and from stuff that you don't see on screen. And so we scan to the color, and you set the color in the Winter main screen. Alright, merge to first paragraph style. Now I'm going to change paragraph style here so that we can see. Yes, this is a good one. So we can see what that means. I'm going to hit Control T to take me to my paragraph styles real quick. And I'm going to select quoted because that one really is, as you can see, single spaced and both right and left margins are indented. Okay, and so when I'm going to delete the return, and this backwards P signifies a return, which also means it's a new paragraph. if I'm deleting this paragraph for whatever reason and bringing it up here, when I do that, because of the check mark, this paragraph style will change to the quoted paragraph style. And let's watch. There you go. If that's the way you like it to work, that if I'm deleting this paragraph up to this paragraph, and you want this style to change to the previous paragraph's style, then you want to make sure you have a check mark. If you want exactly the opposite, remove the check mark. Page up and page down moves by screen. This is going to be a user set type of designation here. What percentage you want? It's based on screen resolution, screen size, and your preference. Because of the screen size that I have, you'll see I can pretty much put about 11 lines on this page. Now, if I want my page down to move every 11 lines, then I have to find out what that percentage is. And you'll have to play with it. Again, it depends on your preference. Let's move on to the next one. Edit. I did Control M and went into Edit. Center line editing. What that means is it's going to try and keep my cursor right here in the middle line, and everything's going to move around it. And as you can see, that's pretty much what it's doing. The cursor stays in one place, and the text moves as opposed to the cursor moving down the page. It's pretty much what that is. This is a style of a preference that we had back in the DOS days, and some people liked it, so we brought it back. Alright, and my last one here is autocomplete. I'm not going to go over that one in this tutorial because there's a whole tutorial dedicated just to that. I encourage you, if you haven't seen that one, go and take a look. Alright, I hope this helps, and I'll see you in my next tutorial.